Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to When India Disappoints a Western Seeker, Acharya Prashant on Upanishads 2022. When India Disappoints a Western Seeker. That's interesting. It's really weird. I don't know what to think about this. I was like, hey, you're disappointed, fine, whatever, move on then. If India's not the place that you're seeking, then move on to somewhere else, I guess. Or continue to seek until you're not disappointed. It's very odd. I guess this disappoints a Western seeker. I don't know what the story is. I don't know what to think about it. So let's go and get started.
Pranam. Now I have a question on Jan. As you said earlier, that knowledge has to precede action.
Yeah.
And this knowledge, you mean that this knowledge is the knowledge of the factual state of oneself as the ego, unfulfilled ego?
The knowledge before action has to be of the actor itself.
But it's a constantly moving thing, right? It can't be
Otherwise you cannot have knowledge.
Ah.
This is very dynamic knowledge that you can attain only in the flux of life. It's like measuring the speed of water flow. If you want to measure the speed of flow, you have to measure it during the flow, in the flow. No? You cannot stop the water or freeze the water and then try to measure the speed. Similarly, life is a constant movement. So life can be known only in the movement.
Trying to understand that. Life can only be known in the movement. So is he trying to say like life can only be in the now, and the now is always moving, but you're always in the now? Like right now is life, and now is now past, but it's now. I don't know how to phrase that, but like the time is continuously moving, whether you're moving or not, and that's why it's always flowing. Time's always moving. You're only ever living life in the now. Is that what he's trying to say? I mean, it's a very like in the middle of a statement, so I'm trying to grasp. Hopefully, it explains a little bit more.
I guess that has been confusing me a little because when I came back to Finland, I was actually, at first it felt a little depressing because I had the notion that coming to India would that something would happen,
Something will
happen.
Huh.
Like my motivation or something would get a spike up. But then I realized that I had a notion that that kind of a motivation could come from somewhere outside of me. It just took me back to the same fundamental that nothing outside of me can inspire me to really work.
I mean, external inspiration can happen. People have experienced that. When they see something, they're inspired. But in order for it to be reliable, it cannot be external. That's the thing. You can get external inspiration, external happiness, external things, but these things are temporary. That picture that inspired you to draw, you painted, it's like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Not inspiration anymore. But that thing that used to inspired me to do this. But now that I look at it, it no longer inspires me because it's gone. It's a fleeting moment. So things can inspire you. Things can make you happy in external life, but it is but a temporary thing. So I know Sadhguru, all the Swamis and Gurus that I watch always say look inwards for anything that's more reliable. It's steady, it's never changing and all of that. If you want to find happiness, you look inside. Inspiration, well, they never talk about that, but can you look inside for inspiration? I know you can find bliss that way.
This is going a little off track, but I still want to say this. But no, it's just funny because I'm in the same situation as when I was before coming to India. But now it seems that I still have work to do in this situation. I guess it's then just fine, because
See, how can soil and roads and brick and mortar give you fresh insight? What do you mean by India? India is just a notion. When you come to a notion, you will miss the ocean. No?
I guess he's thinking that he hopes that coming here will just stir something inside of him, an external inspiration, but clearly, apparently, it didn't happen. Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I can kind of see it from his perspective, hoping that something external can spark something inside of you, but that's such an unreliable method. I honestly don't know what to tell the person. It's like, well, you can look all around, you'll look forever. Like much of the teachings of the Swamis and Gurus that I watch, you have to look inwards, and then perhaps you'll never have that desire to get that spark, because you can always rely on looking inwards for I don't know about inspiration, but contentment, in which at that point you could perhaps do what you want to do.
So what do you mean that you expected that when you will come to India, you will return with your inner gates flung open? What exactly is India for you? What do you mean? You probably came to me, right? And that nearness is not something just physical or geographical. If anything was to be thrown open, that could have happened only if there was a willingness and a realization that it is not the country that counts, but the consciousness. So that's the thing that happens with a lot of people from the West. They come to India thinking that the land itself will do something magical to them. The land will do nothing. In many senses, the country you are in is a better place than India. In many material senses at least. No? You know that very well. Pollution, overpopulation, so many other things. You are already better placed there than in India. What makes India special then, at least for some people? The right company, the right environment, the right process of self-inquiry. Now you have to then ask yourself, how much of self-inquiry did really happen? How much vulnerability did you really espouse? And it's a choice always to open up, to come close and say, I want to speak out, I want to confess, I want to talk about myself, not about the experiences I'm having in India. What is the point in coming to India and, waxing eloquent about a particular wedding ceremony one sees, or a particular thing one sees on the road, or a particular thing one experiences in the apartment? Is that what one comes to India for? No. One comes to India to probe himself, to know himself. Now ask yourself, how much of that did you really choose to happen? It cannot happen on its own. It just cannot happen on its own. There is a process, and the process is Upanishadic. The process is of deep discussion and deliberation. The process involves opening up. The process involves coming to the teacher, talking nothing about this and that. Talking only about oneself. Who am I? What my life's challenges are? What do I do the entire day? How my mind functions? What my fears, my insecurities are? What do I want? If you talk of this, then of course India can bless you with something very magical. But India's blessings cannot be foisted upon someone. One has to first of all be prepared for those blessings. One has to first of all be deeply in love with and desperate for those blessings. So the more you exhibit your desperation, the more madly you are in love with realization, the more you will find India is working for you. Otherwise, India is just an overcrowded place. Not very different from any other place in the world.
Well, honestly, I mean, I don't know. Like again, if I were to go to India, it's not necessarily to discover myself. But if it happens, it happens. Of course, I'd go visit those temples, especially that one, and I want to go see. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with the names, but I know there's a particular time of the year where they celebrate along these steps, where they go into the water. I can't, for some odd reason, I can't think of it, and it's one of the most popular events in the world. And it's one that you can see from the satellite, which was really cool. It's genuinely amazing that you can literally see it from the satellite. You can see the event happening. And to experience all of that, you know, if it stirs up something inside me, if I become realized or whatever, that's great. If not, then I'll still enjoy my time there. That's the whole point. I guess that it's missing is that he came with intent and purposes to go in India for something magical to happen, for something to click for him, whether it be the land, whether it be external things, or whether it be something spiritual. It just hits him, you know. But no, there's work required, and you have to pursue that knowledge. You cannot just passively you think that going to India is going to all of a sudden just hit you in the face.
But I mean, I kind of thought about this on my own, but it did require coming there, you know. That's, I had to see that, as I said, that there was just too much confusion on my side. I sometimes felt that I didn't know what I was doing there. It was just like...
It was your virgin attempt. Try again.
Yeah.
Try again. Huh? You'll have to make yourself land in another India. India is not one thing. India is a million different things. And they are hierarchical. There can be the greatest India you meet, and there can be a very mediocre India you land at. It depends on your choice. What do you want to take away from here? Body identification, Julius, body identification. When one is identified with the body, which is our fundamental nemesis, then one is identified with everything that is physical. The body is a basic physicality, no? And when there is body identification, then there is identification with soil, because the body is soil. So one thinks that by landing in a particular geography, something important will happen that is akin to thinking that the body is important. If the body is important, then land is important. If the body is who you are, then the land is the guru, and then you will miss the guru. By the way, I was seeing it happen all the time.
I know.
I was seeing it day by day how you were missing it.
I know. Me too.
Oh, I know. You are already all knowing, huh? You know so much.
Yes. Too much. Yeah.
Of course, you can be self-aware that you're missing something. That hopefully, actually, you know what? That should be a hopeful statement, because there are people out there who do not know that they're missing something and continue to act a certain way and think nothing of it because they never thought they missed anything. But at least for him, genuinely, is a good thing that he knows that he's missing something, because there are some people out there who do not know they're missing something.
But it had to go that way, I guess.
Obviously. You see, it's necessary. It's necessary that one realizes the immensity of the possibility, and one realizes how easy it is to miss it. How one can be very, very close and yet far from being intimate.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for I just felt like I was wasting your time there all the time. It was kind of,
My time is wasted when I do not get to solve real problems. If I am solving real problems, that's the best utilization of my time. So, could you come up with something real? I would have loved it.
But if I'm not coming up with anything real, does that mean that my lifestyle is not?
What else is it that matters to you, Julius? What else matters to anybody? Climate change?
Huh?
What else is it that matters to anybody? Why do we want to talk about anything else under the sun? It's your life that's the fundamental unit of your challenge. Everything arises from there. Even the global problems come from our own misled minds. No? So one has to talk of one's mind. That's all that is there to talk of. Think now of all the days you spent here and think of what you spent them doing. And then you'll be surprised big time. How could I miss it so completely? So near yet so far.
Tad Vantike. Huh?
You know, the Upanishads put it this way. It's a beautiful quote. Tad dure tad avantike. Near and far. That's near, that's very far. Very, very near, yet very, very far. I have people who are with me since years, and they are very, very far. One day when they'll be even physically far, that's when probably they'll wonder, much like you, how did we miss it so completely? How did we waste all our years?
Yeah. But it was actually funny talking of the distance now, because when I got sick at the later part of the trip, I got most out of the session I was watching from afar. I don't know why, but in the session hall, it was really hard for me to.
Exactly, that's what. That's what. Nearness is such a deception. Nearness is such a deception. It makes you miss even that which you were receiving when afar. There in Europe, you are probably receiving more than what you did sitting right in front of me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because you thought that you were near. That's what the senses make us feel. I'm already near. If I'm already near, why do I need to be attentive? If I'm already near, then I'm eligible to expect a miracle.
Yes, there you go.
And the miracle is not happening. So I'm frustrated. But you are not near at all except in the physical sense. Right at this moment, there is greater intimacy than there was over the period of that month. Because you see, it is not the body that matters, it is mental closeness and availability that matters. That's why I asked you about what constitutes India for you. The airport, the city, the roads, the apartment. What do you mean by India? Did you come to have a taste of the soil? Did you want to have an experience of the newly built airport? That's why you landed here? That's what we forget. Just as we don't remember why we took birth in the first place, we also forget why we have come to a place at all. You look at the people around. Do you think they realize why they stand born? No, we don't know. We don't know the purpose of life. Just as we don't know the purpose of life, we also do not know, or we rather forget, the purpose of our visit or journey. And we just get lost. And then we wonder, why such disappointment? Why am I returning empty-handed? Just as we die empty-handed, we also take off empty-handed.
Real quick before, so it was very interesting. The fact that whenever he arrived to India, like I said earlier, was the fact that he's hoping some kind of something would happen, just snap right at him, whether it be the land, anything external, or spiritual, or whatever, just to hit him automatically, you know. And the sheer fact that whenever he left that place, or maybe whenever he's there, he was hoping that it would still happen. So he's just waiting for it to happen, not really pursuing it. And then when he left, it seems like I'm not there anymore. I'm still having problems. Now I have to kind of pursue, I have to focus because I'm running out of time. I need to focus my attention. I need to grasp what he's saying so that I can get more out of it, because I'm not there anymore. I'm not in front of him. I'm in the apartment, or I'm in wherever he lives, Finland. You become more attentive because you can't be there. Interesting way to put about the closeness. And this is what he was talking about also, about the desire, the desperation of learning. And I think this is where he's come up to, because he's right now suffering because he missed something and he knows it, and now he's suffering for it. So his desire for this knowledge is there, and now he will try to grasp and not miss anything like he did whenever he was in India, because he thought it would just come magically.
But do you think it's then alright if I just continue the current thing and try to just see what comes out of it? Or is that wrong?
You will have to proceed on the pilgrimage once again. So, at the time when you feel ripe, rather at the time when you feel desperate. And this time with far greater care, so that you don't miss it again. With more care and fewer expectations, and with your defenses down. It's important to be disappointed initially, at least. You'll probably not get the context, but there is a pop song that comes to my mind. So it's in Hindi. So it's a usual song written in context of the two genders and the common type of love. The lines become meaningful even in other dimensions. मोहब्बत भी ज़रूरी थी, बिछड़ना भी ज़रूरी था. Otherwise you will not realize that the mohabbat was fake. And that will now enable you to enter true mohabbat. Mohabbat means love. So love was necessary, so was estrangement, parting of ways. If you do not get deceived in love, how will you realize that your love was fake till now? So meeting disappointment is very, very important. And that is not the end. That is now the beginning of real love. Enter it so that you can be duped by it, so that you end up disappointed and frustrated. And that ending is then a new beginning.
And it's such a relief, actually, to realize that you've been just deceived. It's
And
very
that's the reason.
relieving.
And that's the reason I didn't interrupt the process. I was seeing the process of failure happen very clearly. But ज़रूरी था. It's a beautiful song. I mean, Sanjay will definitely remember the other lines. What else was ज़रूरी था? हाँ, that is fine. उसके आगे क्या है? बहुत अच्छी लाइन है. There is this beautiful line. It says, मिली हैं मंजिलें फिर भी मुसाफिर थे मुसाफिर हैं. It is only when you come to your dream destination that you realize that there is still a lot of distance to cover. मिली हैं मंजिलें फिर भी. I have come to the destination and I realize I am still a passenger, a traveler. Otherwise, you will think that you have arrived when you have not. Therefore, it is important to chase something like Ithaka so that you may reach there, even if only to be disappointed. And that disappointment will be a curtain raiser. Something new will open up. मगर भटके तो याद आया भटकना भी जरूरी था. It's when you are lost that you realize that it was very important to be lost. Otherwise, you would have kept telling yourself, entertaining yourself in the notion that you are home. It's important that life, by way of shock and defeat, reveals to you that you are still very far from home. And that, mind you, is not inauspicious. That's wonderful, because now at least you'll be more careful.
Yeah, and it's a relief. Really, it's a relief. Because there is no shame in knowing what you really are.
Yes.
It's only in this strange deception where there's this tension.
You know, there was this Kargil conflict, and one Indian soldier was awarded one of the gallantry awards for something quite peculiar. Listen to it. They did not know the location of the enemy guns, the large guns I'm talking of, the 165 guns, that shell artillery over long distances. So those guns are there. And how do we locate where those guns are? We locate them when they fire and their projectiles land. Then, by tracing the trajectory of the projectile, you come to know where the enemy's guns are positioned. Right? But the enemy wants to hide the location of their guns. So what does the enemy do? The enemy tries to not to fire for as long as possible. Because if they fire, then you will come to know where their guns are. It is from that direction that the shells are coming, and that's the trajectory they are taking. This is the velocity, this is the height, that is the angle. So you can very quickly calculate where the guns are situated. So they were not firing. So one Indian soldier with his team, they decided to expose themselves to the guns. They said, we will make the enemy fire. We will make the enemy fire, and by that we will know where they are hiding their guns. And once we know where they are hiding their guns, we can target their guns. We can either bomb their guns, or we can target their guns using air power. Our planes can go there and destroy their guns. So they deliberately made themselves available to the enemy. They said, we are here, now fire. The enemy had no option but to fire at them, because they were constantly inching closer to their positions. So the enemy fired. The enemy fired. The soldiers were killed. But their colleagues came to know of the enemy gun's position. And for this they were given gallantry awards. So it's sometimes very important that you allow the enemy to fire at you and you suffer damages. If that happens, obviously you suffer, but at least now you know where your enemy is. Otherwise the enemy remains hidden. That's why it's important to sometimes suffer at the hands of Maya. When you suffer, then you know where she is hiding. When you suffer, then you know where she is hiding. Otherwise her guns remain hidden. That's the reason I sometimes ask our friends here in Bodhsthal and around to enter into Maya's very den, very lair. When you enter her den, then you will know how dangerous she is. So I push them into Maya's den. You go there. You go. You make out, you make merry, you go, you drink, you do all those things. Go. If you do not do all those things, then you will never discover her firepower. You have to come close to her to see how dangerous and how ugly she is. From a distance, she will appear very beautiful and very alluring. You have to allow her to fire at you. I repeat, you will suffer damages, but you will come to know where she is hiding. So it's all right. You have suffered a certain damage, but now you know where she hides within you. Next time, be more careful.
Thank you.
Pranam Acharya.
Okay, so interesting last talk there about suffering enemy fire, or suffering in the world, so that you know. So is this like jnana, where it seems like the teaching he's trying, or not the teaching, the thing he's explaining there was jnana, where you start identifying things that is not what you start identifying things that are not you. In order to do that, you must experience those things. I believe I'm not exactly sure what jnana is so far, but when you start feeling emotions, thinking thoughts, these are all Maya. And then when you experience those, you can then know what is not you. Anger, that's not me. Happiness, that's not me. Sadness, that's not me. Frustration, that's not me. My thoughts, I need to go do this in the morning, do that in the morning, I'm not that. That's not me. Jnana yoga talks about I think perhaps I'm not saying right, but identifying things that it's not you. You identify your emotions, anger, sadness, etc. Thoughts, those are not me, those are not me, those are not me. Objects, those are not me, those are not me, those are not me. Eventually you get to the point where you disidentify yourself from everything to only realize what you truly are. That's what it sounds like he's talking about towards the end there. Let me know if I'm right or wrong.
During Bhagavad Gita session, you have told that go beyond the material, or beyond your body, and in recent Bhagavad Gita session also you have told know from your mistakes what you are doing, and today also you have said know who you are. So whether going beyond from the material or beyond from the body is same to that of like knowing.
Same thing. Knowing is beyondness. To know is to be beyond. Wonderful. that which you know is that which you are now free of. Know it and be liberated. Vedanta is extremely clear about it. Knowledge is liberation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that okay made me think of something that I hear sometimes on channels. I don't call me off guard, sorry.
One more thing, in recent Bhagavad Gita session you have told about Nirmam.
Nirmam, yes.
So you are told like regarding I don't know exactly Hindi words, but you have said
Nirankar, Nirmam, Nisprah,
yeah,
Gatavasana.
yeah. But regarding Nirmam, you have said like Mera. I think that Mera, mine. I always think. And after that session, I have observed myself like who I am. Like whenever I speak to someone, I observe myself. I always use I. And this observation, who is observing, that who I am, who is saying this I, is that the observer is also again saying, don't know who is observing it.
Then go beyond the observer. If you observe something and then you observe the observer as well.
That's what observing, but don't know again who is that.
So then go beyond that as well. Beyondness that's the reason so much fun. If you can detect even the observer, then the observer has become the observed. So become the observer of the observer. Everything that can be observed must be observed. The observer, just by the dint of his name, does not become exempted from the purview of observation. There is no VIP list here. Everybody will be frisked. Everybody will be inquired into. Everybody will be observed.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but that guy is struggling so hard. I mean, he must be nervous, I'm sure. You know, maybe he needs to practice though. It was quite difficult. Don't get me wrong, I probably need to practice too myself, but I think I'm slightly better than him in talking. But so is Prashant here trying to say that, you know, the different steps of observation? Oh, I'm feeling this touch. Am I the touch? No. I'm seeing the touch. Am I the eyes? No. You keep going further back, thinking it's all like my mind might be seeing this. I'm seeing this in my mind. I'm thinking. Am I the mind? No. I'm beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, beyond the touch, the sight, the smell, the taste, the I don't know, sight. I don't know. I probably named all 5 senses. But yeah, and how far back? And I think that's the kind of I think I get what he's trying to get at. It's like it's kind of confusing. It's like how far back do you go? Well, you just keep going back until you can't keep going back. How do you know you get there when you can't go back any further? It's quite difficult, and I think I see it in his face. It's like I get it, kinda, but how? And I don't know. I think what was going through his mind. Let me see if we can pull up this. You can really see it in his face. It's kind of funny. That's why I was laughing.
Okay.
I feel for you, dude. But yeah, it's yeah, you're gonna have to just practice it, man. That's probably the only way for you to have that realization of what you're looking for. I don't know if he's doing it or not, but yeah. I know a lot of people say, you practice too, and yes, I get it. I'm not, perhaps I'm not really that worried about it. Again, a video over with, I'm just talking now. Kind of like the one person that talked with Acharya Prashant here about, his time is running out, his time is running out. I'm like, dude, if this is your mindset getting into this, you might not, it might not work for you. But hopefully it does. I mean, obviously it can. People have different kinds of mindsets. Maybe, like Prashant was saying with the last talker about the desperation, that need, that want, desperation, I know for sure, to get it. But I'm wondering if that could be a hindrance, because maybe you're wanting it so much that you'll believe in anything and not be genuine. It's like, oh, this must be it, this must be it, I'll believe in it, and when it's really not. I guess then that's my path, is perhaps it's just going through life, understanding, realizing reality. I guess when I say reality, I mean the material world, Maya itself. It is what it is. I accept it for what it is, and just continue living life. And with that, I'm content. I'm not gonna. Bliss is a very strong word, and I know some of them, at least with the latest videos I've watched of them, they say content, and not necessarily bliss. And perhaps bliss is a different definition that they're using as, but for me, it's contentment. It's what I'm looking at. Where I'm not happy nor am I sad. I'm living life. Generally speaking, I am happier than I am sad. I'm happier, content but happier. I guess it's the right word. Right levels there is. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, and that's the way I'm going about life. If I become enlightened, that's great. If I don't, it's fine. I'm not worried about it. And if you're genuinely worried about becoming enlightened or aware, then obviously you should do this for yourself. Whatever works for you, whether it be Advaita Vedanta or Kundalini Yoga or whatever else it may be. Find your bliss. I ain't gonna stop you. This is how I am. I'm not saying I'm living in bliss, but I am living in contentment for the most part. And it's good enough for me. Alright, that's my reaction to When India Disappoints a Western Seeker. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.